Hi, Floppycatters. I'm totally excited to introduce you guys to Joann, who is going to say her last name because I am incapable of saying it.
Hi, I'm Joann Shermer-Horn.
I found out about Joann because I was following Heidi Gardner on Instagram, and she had posted about Joann in her stories because Joann had done some sound bath therapy on Heidis Cats. And what did you discover from doing that?
Yeah, so it was interesting because Heidi had a cat who was sick and wasn't feeling good. But coincidentally, I was practicing sound bath because I am starting to work doing sound healing for human beings. So I took all my equipment over with me and I was just practicing. And it was really astounding how much the cats really reacted to it. So I started doing it every day, just practicing. And her cats they would be outside, they'd be in different rooms, and they would just come into the room that I was in.
Like congregate.
Yeah, and it was fascinating to see like her different cats and their different personalities, like how they reacted to it. So her 18-year-old cat, who was ill and would barely even move because she was so sick, would come into the room and lay down next to me. And then her 2-year-old cat, who's super feisty, and he'd be outside, chasing the birds and the mice, and he would come in and sit down and listen. And then really what was the funnest thing for us to realize, because I would send these to Heidi, was her 15-year-old cat is blind. And I would do the sound bath, and her cat, the 15-year-old Tweaky, would come and sit down, and you could tell like she would kind of be looking around, like looking for the sound. And that's when we really realized, like, wow, we're kind of onto something with this. So yeah, it was really fascinating to see as I was practicing to give human sound baths, like how important this also is for animals.
What is a sound bath exactly?
So a sound bath is using certain instruments that go with the brain frequencies. So it's to get the brain waves into that meditative state, to get you into your parasympathetic. So it's specific sound tools or instruments that help the brain get into those parasympathetic.
Okay, so my cat Charlie is a 15-year-old ragdoll. He'll actually be 16 in a couple weeks. What are some of the specific benefits you've seen sound baths for older cats? You mentioned...
Yeah, what I've really noticed is calm. So even cats like Cubby, the 18-year-old who was ill, like just calmness, I could see that she was really stressed because she wasn't feeling good. And as soon as I started the healing music, she would just settle in and she seemed calmer. Even like her breath seemed more normal or regulated versus higher. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, and then also I really noticed she has now a little kitten who's 10 weeks old. And he's walking around, being a kitten. And then as soon as I start, especially the singing bowls with him, he'll just plop down on the ground and go to sleep. It's really catered, you could say that this is like for cats or animals that have nervous issues, who have separation issues, anything that's giving them stress. But that's also really relatable to cats who are just young or who are active and you want to help them calm or relax.
Sounds like it would be absolutely ideal if you brought like a new puppy, a new kitten, a new baby.
Yes, it would be good for any house changes, lifestyle changes, going to the vet, anything that's causing stress, even end of life, if you're dealing with an animal that is sick or having to go to pet visits, even creating that bond between you and your animal, because it does obviously going to also transfer to the human being. And so it can be really healing for both of you to deal with any of changes that are creating that anxiety or stress.
Yes. I think also like moving to a new home, like any of that kind of, because that creates a lot of stress that we're not aware of.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Heidi, who I go over weekly to do, she has 4 cats. So she has a 10-week, a 2-year-old, a 15-year-old, and an 18-year-old. So very different personalities, very different stages of their lives.
Yeah.
And they will normally, like throughout the day, they're not really cuddling or spooning each other. They're cats. They get along, but we know how cats are. They can be temperamental. And when I do sound bath, besides the 10-year-old or the 10-week-old, but the 2-year-old, the 15-year-old, and the 18-year-old will all get on the couch together and literally are spooning and snuggling. And it's the only time I have seen, or even Heidi has seen, that these cats actually like touch each other and cuddle. So it's really cool to see.
Okay, you mentioned that it's calming, that they all gather, congregate when you are working. What are other some common signs that the sound bath is working?
You know, it's interesting because there's the calming and the sitting down, listening, relaxing. But then with Tweaky, who is blind, she's actually kind of walking around and almost dancing to the music. So it's interesting to see that they also can be energized in a way by the music or interacting with the sound. Or with the 10-week-old, he will bat at the air with his little paws when I'm doing, especially the singing bowls. It's almost like he can hear the reverberation.
Yeah, and he's trying to catch it.
And he's trying to catch it.
Yeah.
So that's been really fascinating to see.
Are there any pets for whom a sound bath would not be suitable?
You know, that's a really good question. I think you really don't know until you're doing it, but just watching the signs, if they seem stressed by it, or if they're trying to react to that sound or catch the sound and they're getting frustrated because they can't, I would say it should benefit all animals, but case by case scenario.
Okay, so you do in-person sound baths in the Kansas City area.
Correct, yes.
And then you also are offering them over Zoom.
Correct, yes. So in Kansas City, in the metro area, I'm located in Overland Park, but I'll do like Jackson County, Johnson County. So I have an online booking page, or you can just DM me or send me an email and we can talk about dates. But yeah, I just bring over my equipment. I try to find a nice calming space for the animals, and then I just set everything up, and I don't really try to herd them into where I am. I just start playing, and usually they come to me, and usually it's about an hour long that I'm playing the music for them. And then because they're cats, you know, it's not doing it for people, I'll stop and interact with the cats or kind of read how they're reacting to it. But most of the time, yeah, they're just hanging out. But yeah, so for in person, I just have the cats kind of interact how they're going to interact with me. And then for Zooms, I have a little office space and I shut the door, and then I have a microphone so that way I know that the cats or dogs, the animals are really hearing the sound in the speakers. But really, yeah, it would be best for you and your animal to be in a space that feels safe for them and make sure that they're comfortable. And then I just play the music and let the animals react, you know, how they need to be.
Can you do a person sound bath and a cat sound bath?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I started this because I was doing human sound baths and then realized how much animals reacted to it. And I would prefer when I do the pet sound baths over Zoom for you to be, so by default, you know, it's going to be a human and animal. And with every situation, I have an intake form where we talk about special needs that you are dealing with or concerns that you have. And I try to pick the best instruments, the best things that I know is going to be best for whatever your concerns are or what you're wanting to have happen with the sound bath.
Are there any like special requirements for how somebody should prepare their home for you to come over?
You know, not really. Just making sure that you keep this space as neutral or to their comfort or what they are familiar with. Just making sure that they're in a space that they feel safe. Having stuff around them that they're familiar with, because I'm someone who they don't know, but making sure that they're calm, that they're comfortable. That's really the important thing.
Okay. How long does a session typically last?
Anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour is for sound bath. And when you do an in-person sound bath, it's typically an hour because that gives me time to set, meet the animals, get comfortable, have them get comfortable with me, and then I play the music. So usually it's about an hour total time. For Zoom, it's a 30-minute session since they don't have to necessarily get comfortable with me because they're in the safety of their home.
Is there anything an owner should do after a sound bath session to help their pet integrate the experience?
Just give them love and tell them thank you for being such good sound bath participants.
Beyond the immediate benefits of calm, what are the long-term benefits of consistent sound healing for pets?
I mean, I think it's the same for humans. It gets you into the parasympathetic. It gets you into those theta brain waves. It helps regulate your nervous system. So anytime we can help regulate our nervous system is long-term effects of that is good.
How can people learn more about your company, Tending Pets KC, and book a session?
So I have a website, tendingpets.com, and then my Instagram, Tending Pets, or just email me at hellotendingpets@gmail.com.
Do you have a favorite success story or a particularly heartwarming experience that you found with a pet in a sound bath?
Yeah, this past week when I was doing a sound bath with the 10-week-old kitten who doesn't really know me yet because he's new to the home, and he would not leave me. He was curled up against my side. He came around, tried to get into my lap. And before I started doing the sound bath, he was being feisty and being a kitten and chasing the sun and being really sweet. And as soon as I started doing the singing bowls, he really resonates with that. He just plopped right down in front of me. And then I was petting him and soothing him as he was listening to the music, and he fell asleep. And it was really, really, really sweet.
That's so awesome. Joann just mentioned that she also is certified in animal behavior.
Yeah, I'm certified in reading animal communication or animal behavior. So reading their ear placement, where their whiskers are placed. So when I'm doing a sound bath, I'm really paying attention to reading what they're telling me. So I'm looking at how their ears are responding, how their whiskers are responding, even the way they're meowing, specifically with cats, obviously. And so that way, if I'm seeing that they're not reacting in a positive way, or they're getting a little agitated, or it could sound to the owner possibly like, oh, they seem like they're meowing or moving around a lot, but I'm really paying attention to what they're communicating with their ears, their whiskers. So that's a huge part of what I'm doing.
Yeah, I was watching Charlie's behavior and assuming something, and Joann had an experience with another cat and kind of clarified it for me. So that was interesting for me because I was thinking very closed-mindedly. So that's neat too. You discover new things about your cat.
Yeah. Found is like when I start out, they get that kind of fidgety, and then as I continue to play it, then they get calm. It's almost like it has to bring out something in them.
Thank you so much to Joann for coming to my house to do a sound bath with Charlie. I absolutely love the experience. It was so cool to see him go from slightly agitated and curious to then like calmer. And what you didn't see was me saying, it's okay to go night-night. You can go night-night. So then he got off his cat tower and came down to get on his cat bed to go to sleep. So you totally saw like the switch to the parasympathetic nervous system, which was amazing. If you've had a sound bath or you've had a sound bath with your pets, please share about it in the comments below. And I will also include all of Joann's information in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.